The Mill Workspace is a place here in Dyersburg, but it's also we're an entrepreneur center, and we serve businesses across all 9 counties of Northwest Tennessee with our programming that we do. And then anyone, even outside of those 9 counties, can come and we'll help anyone with anything. But our mission is to help businesses start and grow in Northwest Tennessee. And the way we do that is through we have events like this. So after hours, panel discussions. We have a lot of workshops, technical from Canva to Excel to QuickBooks, marketing, all kinds of things in between. So if y'all aren't on our newsletter, if you signed up for this event, you're now on our newsletter. So you'll see all of the workshops coming up, but we're spreading them out all over Northwest Tennessee. And that's Lake County to Henry County, Benton County, back to Dyer County, including Crockett and Gibson. So we do workshops all over Northwest Tennessee. The other things that we do a lot of are what we call one-on-ones. And so if you say, hey, I just want to talk to somebody confidentially and just talk about my idea. Maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you've been in business for 15 years and you just hit a wall and you want to talk to somebody. Well, that's what I do, is just talk to anybody that needs to talk. It can even be on the end of the journey. So if somebody's looking at, selling out and needs advice on that end of things. And so I'll help people as much as I can with the knowledge I have, and then I'll make connections for people with accountants and lawyers and people that might have a lot more experience than I do. So one-on-ones, workshops, and then the other thing we do is we have multi-week cohort programs. So group programs the one we do is called Startup Boot Camp for people in the beginning phase of business. And so one night a week or one day a week for 8 weeks, we basically go through 8 different topics. And then all in between, we have one-on-ones and and I really get to know the people that go through our accelerator programs really well. And then we have another one, and Stacy's in this one. So, Roadmap to Success. So this is for people that have been in business for a little bit and want to just get a little bit higher level knowledge. And so that's that program. So that's what we do. So we'd love to help anybody that needs help with anything. And the other big thing that we do, and this is how we've gotten to know all these folks, is we've been doing Food Truck Fridays, which now is Thursdays and Wednesdays and sometimes Mondays, but Food Truck Fridays is the catchy term. So mostly Fridays. We've been doing that for about 7 or 8 years now since we started. But this year with Rachel coming on board has really just accelerated it. So now we have food trucks, at least one food truck a week. So if you haven't set up here, I'll tell you just real quickly what we do for food trucks. So it's not just a place for you to come park, which I know that's usually what you're used to. Somebody lets you park there, you do all your marketing and whatever you do, or you just rely on traffic. Here at the mill, like I said, we're a nonprofit here to help businesses. So we promote that Food Truck Friday event, and then we do a lot of marketing for you leading up to the event. And if you're brand new here, Rachel will do an interview with you. And before lunch even hits, she's already got the interview published on our website, out on social media, and you guys might be able to attest to this, but you do get referrals from those news stories and all the marketing and stuff we do. Then after that's all over with, we send, anytime we do events, we always send press releases out to the media. And so you'll end up getting published in the newspaper, on WBBJ, all these different places. So we don't charge anything to set up here, although the Street Food Finder app, there's a $7 fee on there. I'm going to talk about Street Food Finder real quick, but we're not here to make money. We're a nonprofit. We're here to help businesses, and that's what we do. So that's our Food Truck Fridays. We may have some slots open, so you can talk to Rachel if you want to get on there, and maybe another day if you need to. So now, lastly, before we get into the conversation, we have hounded y'all to death, I know, about Street Food Finder. So I'm going to tell y'all real quickly about Street Food Finder. It's a private business. We're not any part of it, but normally they're just set up in urban areas. And if you and I found out about them because I would go to Nashville, Memphis, Chattanooga, all these places, and I would want to know where food trucks were. Well, you can go on Facebook and kind of find, if the right keywords in there, you might be able to find them. But on the Street Food Finder app, You just pull it up and it shows you all the food trucks within a certain distance of you. You can see the menu. You can even click on the truck and see where they're going next. And I thought, man, that we should just do. Why can't we just do that in Northwest Tennessee? Well, we couldn't, because they only work in urban areas. And so I reached out to the guy, the founder of Street Food Finder, and convinced him that we needed to unlock that for Northwest Tennessee. And he agreed to do it. So for the first year, they didn't charge anything, and now I think they charge like is it $7 to book a spot? But a really minor cost for the benefit that you get from it. And so, just full transparency, what we're trying to do is get as many food trucks using it, and then we're gonna really ramp up our advertising to get as many people using the Street Food Finder app. We're gonna make little things to go on food trucks that says, "Find us on the Street Food Finder app." It's kind of since we're a nonprofit, we can kinda play this game where we're working both sides, the trucks and the people, to get everybody in the app. And, I just think it's gonna be incredibly valuable when everybody's got the Street Food Finder app, and they just pull it up and they can see where you are, where other trucks are, and you can change the radius, so you get 25 miles, 50 miles. I think it will help y'all reach people better than just your, email list or your Facebook. So, that's the whole idea behind that. If you're not on it, we can help you with it. Just let us know. And one last thing, we're offering, business spotlights, so anybody that wants to have a quick video made, just we'll interview you with several questions, and what we're doing with those business spotlights is we're putting them on our YouTube, our Facebook, our social media, so you get all this free publicity about your business, and then you can take the link to the YouTube link and then use it, in your own marketing. So, some of the best marketing is when somebody else is talking about you or interviewing you, because it seems like, you kinda arrived, like, "Somebody's interviewing me," and, versus you just putting out a video of your own. So, we offer that for free. Anyway, I think I got all that. So, without further ado, I figure we just, I could introduce y'all, but it'd be better, I think, if y'all just introduce yourself. Tell us, just your name, your truck, not everybody has a truck, let's say mobile food vendor, but, what's the name of your business? How long you been in business?
My name is Jason Fowles from Martin, Tennessee. I own Squatch Barbecue and Catering. I've been doing for about 4 years now. And then this past April, I went and started doing the business full time.
All right.
I'm Ed Daniels. I'm originally from Dyersburg. I live in Duketon, Tennessee now. 2011, 2012, my wife and I started Eddyville's Pork Skins, moved into, can you not hear me? Am I not close enough?
Yeah, these mics, you gotta kinda hold it
Then
close.
then we moved into Mimi's Kettle Corn. We added to it. In 2022, I believe it was, we sold to TJ and Andrea Wally. We sold them the pork skins and the kettle corn business. I moved over into Eddyville's Winter Wagon. The next year I moved along with Eddyville's Winter Wagon. We have Eddyville's Fun Foods. And as of now, the Wallies have bought me out. So they're all of Eddyville's belongs to them now. So
All right.
I'm going to be
Breaking news.
advisor.
Yeah, that's great. So, like I said, it's really cool to see folks starting out and then folks that have been in it for a long time. So, that's great.
I'm TJ Wally. I own Wally Taters and More, and I guess y'all know the rest. I own the other. So we've been doing it for about 4 years, the pork skins for about 4 years now. And it'd be 4 years in February. And I opened this one up in February of this year, and we've been doing it full time ever since.
Great. Well, I appreciate y'all being here. So we'll get into a few questions, but the thing that I'm always curious about is kind of the genesis. What made you want to get into the food business or mobile food business? That is.
Well, for me, it was I've worked two different jobs the past 25 years. I was a tire builder, and then I worked on gas pumps. And we got bought out by a $1 billion company, and we was a family-owned business, and it started going down pretty quick. So I already had this established. So I just made the jump and been doing it full time ever since. Just scared to death to be your boss for the short term, but there's no freedom like it in the world.
There you go. That's right.
I started out in 1982 in brick and mortar buildings, but they were convenience stores and truck stops. When I sold out in my last store in 2000, then I knocked around, did what I needed to do, and I decided I wanted back in. And that's when I went into the food business. And the main reason I wanted in the food business was, one, to show back then there wasn't that many food trucks out here, that you could do it out of a food truck and save tons of money over brick and mortar. Brick and mortar is okay, but you've got to get them to come to you. I can go to the people with where I'm at, and that's the way to go, in my opinion. Brick and mortar is way more expensive.
By the way, do you have any announcements on your next business? So since you're a serial entrepreneur, do you have any announcements to make?
I can't, because I called to make my first move this morning, and she accidentally overheard me. She told me I'm done, but I'm not done.
I understand.
I am done, Beverly, but
It's kind of an addiction. Entrepreneurship's kind of an addiction. So,
I was the automotive instructor at Tennessee College Applied Technology in New Bern. I'd been there for a while. This all started over a deer hunting trip. And he showed me kind of what the food business was about with the pork skins, and I'd been with the state long enough that I could do my retirement when I was old enough to retire from the state, so why not?
He's not telling you a falsehood. He came deer hunting and he bought a food truck.
he's got a food truck empire now. What's the, I know there's challenges in all business, but what's the biggest hurdle, like in the beginning, we'll say? What's the biggest hurdle in the beginning to getting started?
Well, for me, I never had no business training or college, so the thoughts of doing taxes and paying the government their taxes and doing it correctly, that the food truck stuff was easy for me, but it was doing the taxes and stuff. And I've had a big support system help me with that, and where I'd still be not knowing how to do it right.
Yeah, well, I always say, just do what you like and outsource the rest. So and some people will overanalyze. So I think I like the approach of just jumping in there and doing as much planning as you can, but at some point, just you got to make the leap. But so what was your biggest challenge as far as the mobile side of business?
Mine was different than his, because the taxes never bothered me, because you can always hire an accountant.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the people that you need. But my biggest thing was finding an item or multiple items that everybody and their brother on the corner wasn't selling. And when I went out and I went with pork skins, that is a hot, laborious, non-glorious job, okay?
Yeah.
So people watched me and thought they could do this really quick and pick up lots of money. When they stand over a 400-degree cooker for 14, 16 hours, they stopped it.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest hurdle, finding what my niche was going to be to get away from everybody else.
And I'll say we've been hosting food trucks since 2017, 2018 here, but I'd say y'all are one of the original food trucks that I recall. There's probably been some version of food trucks around, but were y'all out at Yates's, or were y'all ever out there?
Yes, that was our Dyersburg spot. Was Yates General Appliance Building there.
Shave Ice Barn, y'all, and Mike
Hudson.
Yeah.
Not Hudson, Mike. I can't think of his last name.
Yeah, the barbecue.
Yep, I can't think.
But that was kind of the original. I mean, like I said, there might have been something somewhere, but I don't recall it. I remember that's kind of the original food truck spot. And then
that virtually was the original starting place in Dyersburg.
Yeah.
Now, other cities and towns around may have had some.
Yeah.
But most of it was in your bigger places, not Dyersburg.
So you're not brand new, but what's been the biggest hurdle for you?
The biggest problem is managing time. So a lot of people want to go out there and they want to chase the dollar. You got to have time for yourself. You have got to set it down. You got to make time. You just can't sit in the trailer all day long. You have got to separate your personal time from the trailer and get it off your mind sometimes, because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, and so I didn't even have this on the list, but since you brought it up, um, as far as time management goes, I know that it seems like naturally Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays are kind of the days, but do y'all have prep days or days that you just block out? You won't take a booking. How does that look for y'all?
Well, for me, I just if I have an event, me and Eddie was talking about this earlier. If you have an event on Saturday for a catering job, that's just not Saturday. You know, you might start Thursday going to get the supplies. You're doing your meat on Friday, cooking it all day Friday, and then putting it in the warmer. So it's not a 9 to 5 job at a factory or something, but it's because you can do other things in the time you're doing
Yeah.
on the smoker or whatever. But I mean, it's not no. You just don't appear and you sell it. There's a lot of time goes into it.
I guess it depends on the business too. Um, so how about y'all? It's pretty much same story.
I prepped all day today because
Yeah.
I got to be in Mayfield, Kentucky tomorrow.
Damn.
So I prepped all day, all the way up to this. I sat down for about 30 minutes and went inside. Me and her got ready to come here.
Well, I appreciate y'all.
And that's true, because just like you said, if you have a weekend event and you're through on Saturday, I don't know how everybody else does it, but I have my employees clean my trailer before I leave where I'm at. But I go through and I fine clean it after I get it home.
Yeah.
We have to restock the trailer. We have to restock everything else. So there's Sam's run, there's meat runs, it's not, like you said, it's not a 9 to 5 job. It's usually a 5-day-a-week job plus if you got one event.
So with you, with y'all having, some people have people work for them and some people that don't. Some people are single operator, but do you tend to be the behind the scenes if you have people helping you? So are you up front?
I do all the cooking in all of my trailers.
Okay.
And if my philosophy is, you're not going to trick me, tell me you don't have time to do something, because I've done everything in that trailer.
Yeah.
I've done every job in that trailer. I've done every job in every business I own. So you can't tell me that time-wise you got ate up and didn't have time. I know when I count the money, I know if you had time.
Right. So one thing I was curious about, you can have an idea and never talk to anybody and go out there and do it, only to find out that customers may not like that offering, or this thing's not selling. And I'm just curious if through customer feedback or through no sales, what have you had to adapt or change? Like change on your menu, change your hours, change your locations? What's been y'all's?
You got to throw different, like I do potatoes, everything potatoes pretty much. And when it's hot outside, not everybody wants a full potato. They'd rather have like a cheeseburger or something like that. So you have to adapt. You have to do what you have to do for the customer,
Yeah.
to make sure the customer gets what he wants.
Other thing you've got to look at is every location is different. So your demographics changes your food.
Even in Northwest Tennessee.
Even in Northwest Tennessee. I mean, I'll just take soda pops, okay?
Yeah.
I may go to one place and sell every Dr. Pepper I got and hardly even a Coke. But when I get somewhere else, I'm selling more Coke, or I carry a Sundrop because I work Kentucky a lot. And I may sell Sundrop all day. So you have to adapt to your customer base. And you don't know that the first time you go.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve.
So
And it's just like with like he's talking about. I put items on my menu, thought they were a great idea, and I found out that the stuff I really like don't sell good, so I sell stuff I don't like.
right.
I mean, that don't make sense.
And people aren't too shy about telling you.
That's right.
I'm guessing.
If let's say I've got Philly cheesesteak on the menu, which I do. If I go there and it's not selling, and the next place I go it's not selling, the next place I go it's not selling, why have I got my money tied up?
Yeah.
Pull it off at
You're letting sales tell you.
Put some sales item on there. Now, luckily, Philly cheesesteaks sell.
Yeah.
So
And I know you've been at it for a shorter time, but have you had to adapt to
Oh,
anything?
I do the exact same thing, and I'm careful when I tell somebody what I have. I'm Squatch Barbecue and Catering, but if you don't like barbecue, I'm a pit master. I can cook anything you want, whether
Yeah.
it be pork chop. I'm gonna add jambalaya to my trailer. Some places I go.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody don't want. Well, 99% of people want barbecue nachos, but other items you got. I mean, you got to sell what they want.
Yeah.
And I'm always on YouTube for hours at a time trying to come up with new ideas. You'll get stale real quick in this business if you don't change it up.
I was this is kind of a odd question, but that's lead me into, have you ever gotten to a point where you thought, I've got this all figured out?
Nope, not yet.
All right. So the point is like you're still adapting, even if you've been in it years, you're just
Let me
adapting.
tell you this: when you quit adapting and quit learning, you can shut your doors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're already behind.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So now that y'all been in it for a while, I mean, we know what your next step is now. I kind of know what your next step is, but for you, I mean, what's the next step? I mean, you started out with this dream to do XYZ, and now you've seen a little bit. And what's the next level? And not that there has to be a next level, but I mean,
There's going to be a next level, just like we were just now discussing. I'm in the next year probably going to do some alterations or get a new trailer to add on a fryer, or so I can add on different items and expand. Like I'll go anywhere they got a need for what I'm offering. Missouri, we're going to Indiana this year, Kentucky. I mean, I got all the time in the world, so if they got the money, we're going to go.
what's a typical territory though? Just a weekly thing.
I really don't do, I was talking to him about this. I really don't do real great at doing pop-ups, what I call a pop-up, like just going and sitting up at a gas station or something.
Yeah, kind of like what we do.
Well, that's very well marketed though, what y'all do.
Yeah.
So it's different, but, I don't do very well with that. So I mainly just do private catering, and word of mouth has got me, a lot of people that call, want me to do events for them or big festivals and stuff. So that's mainly what I'm doing. The day-to-day pop-up, I haven't had real good luck with that.
Yeah, I think for us, the whole pop up concept makes it easy for like our ideas. We're bringing people into the market and helping them just get introduced, but with the idea that they're going to get that catering gig, because at some point we have trucks that we've helped out in the past that don't even come back anymore, and that's fine. We're kind of an incubator too. So,
Well, I would like to touch on that. I mean, I don't mind going and setting up because I love meeting people.
Yeah.
But if I have an event where I can go and make a substantial amount of money at a private catering event and drop it off and leave, or stay there for an hour or two and make double what I was going to make at all day long at a festival, that's a no-brainer for me every time. And I'm sure they'll say the same.
Kind of hit on that. Talk about the Fridays and not being able to do scheduling. If you're in the food industry and August through the 1st of November, if you ain't got every Friday booked, something's wrong, because you're Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from August to November, what, second week of November right now, you're booked. You're there. Yeah.
And that's right.
Yeah.
And then depending on what you prefer to do, there's all kind of Christmas things going on. There's Thanksgiving things going on. There's all kind of stuff now from Christmas on. You're in a land of your own then.
yeah,
September and October is just unreal. And then you steadily throwing stuff in there, like me and him. We're both doing barbecue on the river this year in Paducah, Kentucky. We was talking about that earlier. That's an all week prep.
Yeah.
We're going to start on Monday and we'll start selling Thursday. It'll be all week.
so like I
Now
know,
next week y'all need off.
Yeah, that next one.
yeah, probably going to have. And I know. So we have this mix. It's a lot of newer trucks, but so I guess the point is, if you're just starting out, do those pop ups because it really helps you get
Yes.
get your experience.
you-
And then you book. Don't be shy about like wanting to move on to the more lucrative things.
Just my word of advice, if you got 5 people and you sell them all 5 things and 2 people don't like it, there's something wrong. You need to kind of change it. Like he said earlier, it's not what you like, it's what they like.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
So along these lines, and we're going to be wrapping it up, but what has been the most effective marketing strategy or marketing tool that y'all have used to get the word out?
It's straight up word of mouth. If it can be your biggest asset, or it can be your downer, because they'll tell you McDonald's can mess your order up 100 times. You're still gonna go back to McDonald's to get a cheeseburger. If I mess it up one time, they're gonna tell all their friends and stuff. Oh, Jason's stuff ain't no good. But
One strike, you're out.
and that's how it is. Right.
So y'all have any other?
Well, Facebook has been for me through the years. Before y'all came along,
Yeah.
Street Food Finders came along, before all that, Facebook was the thing, but he's absolutely 100% right. One bad review from a customer is worse than 10, 20, 30 good ones.
Yeah, it really amplifies the negative.
Look, the one bad one, the good ones, everybody just sort of overlooks them.
Yeah.
Everybody looks for the bad one.
Do y'all actively go after reviews? Like, do you ask people for reviews, or you just kind of let it happen?
No.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't just dwell on it, but you can see it, so you need to fix the problem. You'll have to fix what the problem is for just move on. Don't let it stop you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you can. If you can, but yeah, sometimes you can't.
See,
My thing about reviews, if you go out here soliciting reviews, then you're trying to falsify your information, because you're trying to feed these people information to feed her.
yeah, yeah.
And that's not the way this business works. If you can't put out a quality product at a reasonable price and good service, you're out of this
So
business.
that's your marketing. Without y'all telling us like your exact numbers, I'm not asking that, but if you were consulting somebody that's wanting to start a food truck in general, what do you think is the dollar amount for that people really need to have to get a trailer up and going? I know every business is different, but what's a range? Like, is it 20 to 30, 30 to 40, something like, what's a good?
So if you're leaving, like if you leave your job, you need 3 to 6 months in bills paid, or where you can pay your bills.
Yeah.
And just a trailer in general with everything, $30,000, easy 30,000.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say, a $30,000 plus $30,000 just to have your bills. Somebody's got to buy supplies. So now you're looking at more money.
Yeah.
He's talking about buying a trailer and paying his home bills. But you got to have enough to buy your supplies, because nobody's going to give them to you. And you've got to get out and actively work to get the deal.
Do y'all recommend, starting before you leave your job full time, starting your trailer up? And I say trailer because most food trucks that we call them are trailers. You rarely see an actual fully enclosed food truck when we're talking about a whole nother level of expense there. And then if the engine messes up, you're in real bad trouble. So,
I did for 3 years.
I won't tell you who he is, but I know a guy that just bought a truck and he thought he stole it. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And it's an actual truck.
Yeah.
And he gave 30 grand for it, and he thought he got a deal, but he hadn't had it wrapped. He hadn't had the mechanicals totally checked out. Now he hasn't sold the first item out of it, hasn't had it wrapped, hasn't cooked anything in it, and he's putting a brand new engine in it, got other mechanical, and has to have it wrapped. So you're looking at 50 grand, and that doesn't have any supplies.
It seems like I've seen the progression, because we all say food trucks, but mobile food business. You see, folks can start out with I've seen just with the SUV and some tables and set up like that, then the trailer, and then some people move on.
That's not right, and I hate to disagree with you.
Yeah, please.
Health
But
problem.
there's a deal with, used to, you could set up under a tent and cook. You could set a tent out behind an SUV. You could do a lot. The state of Tennessee says, and whether they enforce it or not, I'm not here to tell you if they're right, wrong, do or don't. But the state of Tennessee says you cannot cook under a tent, and you got to serve through a window. But then they tell you can cook under a tent, but you got to serve your food through a window. And it can't be a window in the tent. So that puts you into a trailer.
Yeah.
Now, there are people, and there may be people in this room, because I don't know anybody here hardly except what few that I do know.
Yeah, we've got some mobile.
But if the state of Tennessee is doing their job by regulations, you cannot cook under a tent. Now, I don't know why they changed that, but he's one of the few.
I'm grandfathered in.
I have him. I did it so long under a tent.
Yeah.
That they had to grandfather him in. So it's as long as he keeps his yearly license.
Yeah.
And keeps it clean, and cleanliness doesn't matter to the health department. Regulations do.
Yeah.
They could care less whether you ever clean anything or not.
Yeah.
It's regulation. As long as he meets the regulations and he has absolutely no critical items, period.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, he can sell out under a tent forever.
Yeah.
But the first time he's late on his payment on his license, he's in the trailer.
So having said all that, so this is the last question. So, your one opportunity to give the best advice possible to any aspiring or just people that are just starting out. So, what's the one thing maybe this is a better question. What's the one thing you wish somebody had told you, the best advice you got?
Well, the best advice is when anybody calls you for any kind of event, whether it be, setting up somewhere, number one, how much foot traffic are you expecting? And my second question is, how many food trucks do you have coming? And how many are going to be the same item I have? Because if you got 400 people coming and 6 food trucks, the math ain't going to add up.
Yeah. Yeah. You say that a lot.
And that's right. That's exactly what I said. The only thing I would add to it is I don't care who you are. If you get a rock in your shoe, get it out.
I hear you. TJ. I have to say he's right on the money. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, we had good advice starting out because we come into a already established trailer, when we started. But I mean, like with the tater, I for the last 2 years have sat down and just went through everything, and we had doubts. I mean, because we didn't know. I mean, there's not one around here. There's not one to compare to or anything like that. But you're going to be scared, but don't be scared.
If you're going to do an event that costs you $400, in my opinion, you need to do 15 times that amount of money. 10 times will break you even, in my opinion. If you're going to do $400, you need to do $6,500 at the end of the day. So, I mean, that's a good rule of thumb. A lot of people tell you 5%. You can't make it on a $400 event and make 5%.
Yeah.
Or times 5. So, you've got to make money, and $400 is cheap for an event.
Yeah. Well, having said that, we're going to swap out, but does anybody have a question before we move on? So without any questions, I really appreciate you guys being here. I've been working with food trucks so long. I know it's a tough business. There's a lot of tough businesses, but it's a tough one. And, you're here, prep day, got an event tomorrow. So you won't hurt our feelings if you got to slide out, but I hope you can stay around. Appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully it's been helpful to some of y'all, and we're going to be here, after, so feel free to stick around and ask questions.
Well, I appreciate y'all inviting me. I'm honored to even give advice, and whether you take my advice or whether you don't, I may not be the best one, but I probably got the most experience here, whether it's good or bad.
I tell people I've been in my business for 24 years, and I brought all that experience to the mill, and I just teach people about all the bad mistakes I made. I learned them all the hard way. So thank y'all for being here, and we appreciate all y'all do. Appreciate the food, and hopefully we'll see you back here in the parking lot soon. So, and now I'm going to let y'all introduce yourself, but Yummy Sourdough Pizza. Just introduce yourself, talk a little bit about the business, when you started, and then we'll go from there.
Want to start? Well, my name is Robert. It's my lovely wife. And we started, I I figured you say your own name. I didn't want to take that thunder away from you. And we started doing a yummy sourdough pizza. September will make 1 year we started doing it. And it's just something that we just fell into. It wasn't actually something that we were seeking after or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just one day I was sitting there eating some leftover pizza that my wife had made and sit with my daughter. And just all of a sudden, I just felt this overwhelming feeling that this is something we should be selling. And of course, my daughter beat me to my wife to tell her what I had said. And my wife said, "This crazy old man, what's he want to get into now?" And here we are doing this, and we absolutely love it.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Tiffany, his wife.
So I'm gonna spread the questions out so we got both of y'all talking. But and it's not just the two of y'all. This is a family affair. So you want to talk a little bit about the family dynamic and the pros and cons and all that? I'll leave that to you.
So we have our 3 kids. We have Nick.
And they're here.
2 of them are
Two of
here.
them are here. Yeah.
Our oldest is down with my parents this week, just hanging out with his grandparents. So that's cool. But he's 12. Our daughter is 10, and our youngest is 8. And yeah, they come with us to all the events because we homeschool as well. So it's a family thing. And through learning this business, we are teaching them how to become entrepreneurs as well,
Yeah.
and encouraging them to learn to talk to people and sell things and not be afraid to just work with people, and it's such a valuable life skill. So it's part of our homeschool curriculum now.
Yeah. Well, and they do a really good job too. And so also they've started little side gigs and things like micro businesses within the
Yeah,
within the
definitely.
business.
Our youngest, Trevor, he paints and sells rocks now.
Yeah.
And he's a little hustler, man. And
That's good.
he was selling some stickers. He goes around printing people's stickers and selling them all the time. And my daughter, she's selling pine cone flowers, just super cool. And yeah, so I mean, it's all fun. They were doing food, but it's more perishable and takes more time, that kind of thing. They can work on these as they want. So we do that. Yeah.
I think that's great. Now talk a little bit more, Robert, about the food. So yummy sourdough pizza. I mean, it's pretty self-descriptive, but how do y'all do? Do y'all do it by the slice or personal size, or what's the menu look like?
So when we were first originally doing all this, I'm sorry, I thought I hit it up
These
there.
mics you got to hold them kind of close.
When we first started doing all that, we were trying to figure out what would be the best way to do this, and what kind of ovens and things and stuff like that. And we decided that the best way to do it is not to do with any slices or anything like that, because at the end of the day, we have to have warmers, and who likes to have pizza that's been sitting underneath a warmer for a while?
Yeah.
And you always have to follow certain regulations. They can't be underneath a warmer for after like 30 minutes, something like that, and you got to throw them out. So, but who can pass on fresh pizza straight from out of the ovens? So that's what we decided is go ahead and do the just a round pizza and do the whole thing. But we didn't also want to do a big one because we weren't sure how it was going to be accepted, if it was going to be accepted, if anybody even wanted it, or anything like that. So we decided to do we actually started off doing a 7-inch pizza, and that's what we had started off. So now we're doing an 8-inch for the festivals. But eventually, once we have our food trailer or truck, we will actually offer bigger sizes and go from that point. But
Yeah.
it's just straight up it's just a round 8-inch pizza. And we do everything as fresh as possible. We don't try to put any kind of preservatives into it. All our dough is usually made that week.
It's all sourdough.
It's all sourdough, so you get that extra and out of that, because that the sourdough we use, it gives it a bit of a sweet taste, and it's not like regular flour where you still have a lot of empty space in there, and it just doesn't seem like it fills you up. The sourdough fills you up. I mean, look at me. You know what they say that don't trust a skinny chef. You know, that one brown pizza fills me up. I mean, I'll make myself a supreme pizza, and
That's true.
I'm not even done through it. I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely full.
I
So
can attest to
we
that.
try to keep as fresh as possible. That's the biggest thing. And it's like the gentleman, I think it was either him or the other guy, I can't remember what his name was. if you have to have a good quality product.
Yeah.
And, people will love that. When they love that, they'll come back and the word of mouth spreads, which is one of the biggest things for us because, we're a new guy on the scene. But by the time we're done, everyone is at our, at our tent or, have complimented us and stuff like that.
So Tiffany, you guys it's coming up on a year, but what feedback have you guys gotten and had to adapt and change your menu or change just your setup, or what have you had to adjust to?
We've adjusted every week. It was funny. I was joking with him just this past week that, oh wow, we actually had one event to the next that we didn't change something. It's because it was on the same day. So we changed so much. There's always something we're adding and changing. But as far as the food goes, that has stayed pretty consistent. We have
Yes,
we
sourdough. It's been sourdough pizza.
sourdough pizza. Yeah. We did change our name because we started out as Yummy Homemade Blessings. That was our name initially. And we got put with like the baked goods
Yeah.
in a couple of events. And we're like, that's not where we need to be. We need our name to just say what we are. But yeah, so our pizzas, we've only really just added topping options. So initially when we started, we were pre-making the pizzas and we only had cheese and pepperoni. Those were our only options. And then we added meat and we tried sausage as well. And the sausage didn't sell. So like they said, the other guys, we just don't sell that one. But because we need the sausage to make the meat pizza, which is sausage and pepperoni, we have a few people, and we figured it out is about only 4% of people want a sausage pizza by itself. But it's there because we use it for other things. But so we've added, mushrooms and banana peppers and things.
Yeah, I'm sure people
Later on.
I have my thing that I want every time. So just people coming up and asking for
Right.
those ingredients.
Right. Yeah.
So having said that, back to you, Robert. So what made you guys want to get into the mobile food business?
It's like I said before, it was something that we just fell into. It's like I almost feel like sometimes Spider-Man, when power is thrust onto you, you gotta just be responsible with it and figure something out. We actually, when we first started, like I had mentioned before, we had no clue that it was going to be as good as it is and get the feedback and stuff like that. When we first started, we were pre-making everything. It originally was just going to be going to the Kenton White Squirrel Festival and when they had their different activities throughout the year, just go in there, selling a few, and be done with it.
Is
But
that where are you guys from, Kenton?
from Kenton, yeah, we live right in Kenton. Matter of fact, if you go to the heart of Kenton, ask for the house with all the chickens, they'll tell you exactly where we live. You cannot miss us.
So do you have chicken pizza?
Yeah, it would be fresh chicken, that's for sure. But it was just one of those things that if we felt led that this is what God wanted us to do, that we wanted to be able to change our family dynamics and not just have the children being stuck at home or not being able to do things. This just has has opened us dramatically,
Many opportunities.
bringing a lot of opportunities. And so when we first started, it was just, let's see how this works out. Let's see if we get any good feedback. And after the first 2 or 3 that we did, we got such great feedback that people love the pizza that we decided, you know what, let's see what can happen. And this is all towards the end of the year when things are starting to wind down. And, but we were just getting into a few different places, different small farmers markets. And then we just decided, you know what, let's just make this our 2025 goal. Let's continue building what we're building and eventually get to the point where we will have our own trailer. We just make it a full-time thing. And we drag our kids along because this is something we want them to learn, to be an entrepreneur. Don't be the cog in the wheel for the machine and just rely on what they give you. Figure out what you can do in life because that is where you're going to make your best success, is being able to do that instead of just working for somebody and maybe make a few pennies here and there.
Yeah.
So, but it was just something we fell into.
Yeah.
It honestly just stumbled on.
And what? Yeah, go ahead.
If I could add something, we didn't start like traditionally, like they were mentioning, $20,000-$30,000 to get started. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
We started. The first event that we went to, we didn't even have a tent, and because we were pre-making the pizzas, it fell into kind of a gray area, and so we just had to figure things out as we went along. And
Yeah.
working with the health inspectors, we've done that, and we still don't have a food truck. We're working under a tent, and we get permitted every time we need to.
It's always interesting to me, the kind of the inconsistent. This is a big issue for me, and I won't go off on a whole rant, but the inconsistency in our laws and our regulations and town to town and county to county. So that's for another day, but there are inconsistencies. So having kind of on along that vein, like what's the biggest challenge, you feel like you guys have had getting started?
Well, it was figuring out the health inspection stuff. That was because it was very inconsistent. It was like you look online and it's like it says one thing, and then we talk to this person and it's like, wait, how does that work? But eventually we just talked to the health inspector that is for our area, and we figured it out. Like, okay, this is what we need. This is what we got to do, and that's all we do.
Well, and even with the health inspectors too, it's very piecemealed information. So it's like all of them are doing the same thing at the same time. There are some, and I'm not complaining about the health inspectors at all. Believe
Cut that
me.
part.
There are some that will just come and just make sure you got things set up, and they won't check anything. And then we have some that come and that thermometer is coming right out, and they're wiping it down to start poking through your stuff to make sure everything is being done the way it's supposed to be done.
And they have full reign, right? They come in and there's this, they're do whatever they want to
Yep.
do.
Yeah, they come right in, and we just they're able to do it, and they check all our stuff. So that's the biggest one, is figuring out what can you do with what you have, with especially, and make sure that you're satisfying those regulations, because the last thing you want to do is make people sick. So you want to make sure that you're following the rules and trying to keep things cold and keep things hot, whatever it's supposed to be. And that's the one thing that we had to deal with. And thankfully, over the time, we've literally have upgraded all our stuff. We have a refrigerator that we haul with us all the time, where we keep everything that needs to be cold kept in there. Our ovens that get over 600 degrees, so they cook everything in there completely clean.
Yeah.
One of the inspectors said that because of the fire of the grill, that it kills all the germs, and they're very comfortable with it, especially when
Yeah.
they try to get over their temperatures, and they're like, "Oh no, it's way too hot. We can't do that."
So now that you guys have been at it for a while, is there a next level, or are you content where you are? But is there a next level?
The next level is definitely our trailer.
Okay.
So when we decided we're going to make this happen, we wanted to move forward with this and make this what we want to do. Our goal is to try and do this as much as possible as debt free. And I know there's some, it depends, and really, actually, it depends on what you're doing, like barbecue, or if you're doing burgers or you're doing tacos. There's so much equipment and so many other things you got to get to be able to do what you have to do. But we're doing pizzas. So for us, it's a lot easier. So for us, we just have to have a refrigerator to where we can keep our toppings cool before they go into the oven. And then we just have something that has to cook it. Since we don't really do anything by the slice, we don't have to have any warmers. So we're able to just pump it through and just have fresh hot pizza, and from that point. But our next step is definitely to get to the point where we have a trailer, and that way we can get completely permitted without having to worry about doing temporary permits, and things like that, because $30 a pop, it can add up after a while because you're paying for those permits, where the one for the annual, it's $210. But it is possible. It's weird, because I was listening to the one gentleman that he was talking about the cooking under the tent, and it's like what we do, and not one. And we even had the main guy from Nashville. He was down at the tomato festival, and so he was there with us, and we were talking with him for a good 10-15 minutes, and they never once ever said there was any issues with that. But it's weird, because maybe it depends on what product you're offering.
Yeah.
So it can also land on that, because the only thing that we offer that has any kind of potential hazards is the sausage. Everything else is shelf stable.
Yeah, they're not to go too far off on a tangent, but a few years ago, the same people that helped Tennessee get the craft food, and I was talking to Malik, I believe, about the craft food business. Tennessee has some of the best, in my opinion, because I just like less regulations. And when it comes to food, we need them. But with the craft food business, that was a group called Institute for Justice that really helped push that legislation through. And with the craft food, like a bakery, an in-home bakery, you're almost untouchable to the government in a way.
Under the freedom, yeah.
Yeah, craft food, whatever they call it. But the same group tried to. And y'all tell me this. I'm going to announce. I'll just go ahead and say it now. So I was on a conference call, or we were on a conference call today with the Small Business Administration, and we're having an event called "Cutting Through the Red Tape." We're talking about all this regulation. You guys are TDOT, health department, local governments, fire departments, licenses, all that. So we're going to have an event August 26th. We don't have all the details out yet, but it's called Cutting Through the Red Tape. And they were wanting us to invite a bunch of manufacturers. Well, before the conversation was over with, we now have 2 events, and one is just for food trucks. And so we're inviting all of y'all to come here, and we'll put it out there. But it's a round table where you get to sit down with the federal government and some state and talk about these things. And my biggest thing that I've been advocating for food trucks, it didn't make it through the legislature a few years ago. Y'all tell me if this is a problem. Urban food trucks get 1 permit. If you're in Nashville, you go to county clerk, you get a permit, you can operate on private property. There's regulations if you're on public property. But in rural food businesses have to deal with every jurisdiction in Northwest Tennessee. And you can't stay in one spot because you can kind of burn out a spot. And so more to come on that, but we're going to be inviting all of you guys to that round table, and you get to sit with the SBA and different ones and just kind of talk through these things. And so that's, to me, is the biggest challenge. The reason it didn't even make it out of committee with the state legislature, because the committee they went through, I believe it was the Commerce Committee, but it was mostly urban representatives. And when I say like people, urban meaning just from Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville, food trucks, and their constituents, food trucks, they just get 1 permit. And so it wasn't an issue for them. But y'all feel like it's an issue here. It's a challenge, right? Shifting off of that, and so I'm curious with you guys. I heard what they were saying about the marketing, but what has been your most effective marketing so far? Methods or
Well, we use Facebook. We are on Instagram, but we don't have as much
Following.
traction.
Oh,
Wait, you're gonna say
Instagram.
something. Yeah, we haven't gotten as much traction on Instagram, but we are using the food truck finder, street food finder, I'm sorry.
yeah, I've
Street food
noticed.
finder.
Yeah.
We like that it automatically posts to Facebook. That's really cool. And we're using that, and we have gotten a lot of people that are commenting on Facebook and spreading the word and then sharing our posts and things like that. So it is that organic word of mouth through Facebook, and we've found that that's huge, especially, if people are sharing it, or they're like, oh, they're tagging their friend, hey, you need to come try their pizza, it's amazing. And that speaks volumes.
So you guys engage with your followers on
Yes.
Facebook. How many followers are you guys up to now?
It's not that many, maybe 300 or 400.
Oh, wow.
But it's
Yeah,
working. It's working.
small. But when we go to an area and then we don't push like, hey, give us a review. Occasionally, if somebody will come out and they're just gushing about the pizza, we'll be like, hey, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review, but we don't do that every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just when we're in an area consistently and people know us, then they'll be like, oh, I have to follow you so I can know where you are and things like that. So it's just growing.
Which is where I was talking how before we'll go to places where we've been there for the first time, and at the beginning it's a little slow. We'll see all the other trucks and everything getting business and stuff like that, and we'll get the rare that they don't want to wait too long in one place. They see there's nothing there, so they'll come over and get us. By the time we get to the end of that, by the last hour or two, we will have our rush, and we will have people running up to us wanting to know if we have any more pizzas left, because they've heard about us all over the place and they had to come out and try the pizza and stuff like that. So we get the word of mouth just in that event itself,
Yeah.
because of the quality of the food and how people like it.
And I imagine, so I know a little bit about bakers and everything. Sourdough, I mean, you've got to prepare. You only have you have to make the individual doughs, right? You don't need them out on the spot.
Oh, no.
You have to make the doughs.
It's all
out.
par baked.
Yeah. So when you're out, you're out.
We're out. We're out. That's it.
Has that been a challenge? Like figuring out, okay, well, we're going to make 50 or we're going to make 100. If you,
Huge challenge.
yeah,
Because it's just like you had mentioned before, you know, asking the questions of how many, what's the food, what's the projected attendance, what's the previous year's attendance, how many food trucks you're going to have on there. That helps us a lot because we have to figure out how much crust do we bring in order to be able to make and feed those. And I had talked to somebody else and they had said 30% of whatever number the people give you will buy from a food truck. So you would have to take whatever the percentage is and then divide it among the amount of trucks to figure out, is that what I want, you know, what I want to attend to. And yeah, you just have to make it.
so there's and you'd rather sell out than have
Correct.
food left over.
Correct. I'd rather sell out for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to have to take anything back
Right.
home. We have chickens. They enjoy having leftovers. They don't squawk about it at all. Two, if I can sell out before the thing is over, the buzz is bigger. People are like,
Oh.
oh man, the next time I see them, and we've had people come to us, and whether it was a multiple day event or we've come back a few weeks later, they're like, I missed out the last time. They're like the first ones
Yeah.
to order.
Yeah, you guys sold out the first time you were here. I mean, I think it was all pre-orders. Yeah. So as we wrap it up, and I encourage everyone to stay around. Feel free. Anyone that wants to have anyone that signed up for a business spotlight, we're going to do those right after this. So you know, y'all been at it for a year now. You know, what's the best advice for someone just starting out?
Don't be afraid. Be prepared. Just like these guys mentioned before. If you're working a job right now, don't just get rid of that job. You need to hold on to that unless you have the finances behind you. But start it part-time. There's no reason why you can't go out on a Saturday or a Friday night. You can moonlight. It's not a big deal. And then you can see, is it something that people are going to want? That's how we started when we first started, is the testing of it. And we've got to the point now where people are loving us and we are preparing. And once we know the numbers, we bring plenty. And then we bring all the options to give people to be able to get to us without having to wait in line. They can do online as well. But don't be afraid, because, I mean, you're the master of your universe. Don't let anybody else tell you that you can't do something when deep down you know you can.
Yeah, that's great. Anything to add?
I'm going to say the exact opposite because that's exactly what we did. We did it scared. You know, we jumped into it and really didn't have a fallback, and we are growing continually and adding things and like figuring things out, and we have to make it work because we don't have any other income. So, I mean, that's exactly the opposite of what we did.
Well, I mean, I do have my web developing, but I don't fully focus much on that either, too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So yeah, be prepared. At some point, you have to burn the bridges. You know, at some point, you have to make the leap. I think it took me 3 years of side hustle before I burned the bridges. But when I burned the bridges, quit and cash in the 401k, you know, is in my case. And so, yeah, I appreciate that advice. I really appreciate you guys being here. Glad you guys brought the kids. I think that's a really cool, unique part of what you guys do. And I thank all of y'all for being here. Feel free to stay around. We've got food. If you want to take some food with you, apologies. We always forget the ice. We just always forget ice. And so I even had water for you guys it's in the freezer, cooling down for you. So anyway, y'all feel free to stay around, mingle, ask questions. No rush to leave. So thank y'all for being here.